Close your eyes. Let your body settle wherever you are right now. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Let your hands rest quietly. There's nothing you need to do right now. Tonight, we're going to move through a life. Not in loud moments, not in big headlines, but in quiet ones. The kind of moments that happen when no one is watching. Before the stages, before the millions of people, there was a girl writing in notebooks. A quiet town in Pennsylvania. Ordinary streets. Ordinary days. Music wasn't a career yet. It wasn't even a plan. It was just a way to understand how she felt. When something was too big to say out loud, she wrote it down instead. That's where it started. At a young age, she picked up a guitar. Her fingers learning slowly, the way all things are learned, one small step at a time. She started turning thoughts into songs, not for an audience, not for anyone at all, just for herself, just to make sense of things. Eventually, her family made a decision. They moved to Nashville, a city built around music, a place full of people who also believed in something. Her early performances were small, rooms with just a few listeners, sometimes almost no one at all. But each song carried something real inside it, something that felt true. Slowly, people began to notice. Not all at once. The way the sun rises, gradually, then all at once. Those small rooms became larger stages. Her voice and her stories traveled further. Albums came, each one a little different, each one reflecting a different version of her, a different chapter. Recognition followed. Awards, sold-out shows, millions of people listening. But success didn't quiet everything. It just changed the noise. Today, she is known across the world. Her music heard in places she has never been. Languages she doesn't speak, singing her words back. But underneath all of that, the process stayed the same. Late nights, quiet thoughts, words written down, one line at a time. And beyond everything you see on a stage or in a headline, there are quieter details, ways of thinking, patterns, moments that aren't always visible.
So tonight, we are going to move through them slowly, one thought at a time. There's no rush. Let each thought settle before the next one arrives. She writes songs to understand her emotions, not just to express them, but to figure out what they mean. Writing is how she finds the answer, not how she announces it. Some of her lyrics start as private thoughts.
Words she never planned for anyone to hear. Just something she needed to say, quietly, to herself. She has said that overthinking is part of how she creates. The mind that won't stop turning is the same mind that finds the right line. Overthinking can be a kind of searching. Writing can feel like control when everything else feels uncertain. When the world outside is loud, the page is still. You can shape things there, the way you can't always shape them in life. She doesn't always write from clarity. Sometimes she writes to find it. She starts without knowing the ending. And somewhere along the way, the ending finds her. She's known to rewrite the same line over and over until it feels emotionally exact. Not just correct, exact. There's a difference. Her songs often begin with a single feeling, not a full story, not a plan, just one feeling that needed somewhere to go. She remembers emotions more vividly than events. She might forget what was said in a room, but she remembers exactly how it felt. That feeling becomes the song. Some of her strongest ideas come late at night, when it's quiet,
when the rest of the world has gone to sleep and the thoughts have space to surface. She uses music as a way to slow down her own thoughts. The act of writing is itself a form of rest, an exhale. She has written entire songs completely alone, without telling anyone. Just her and the page and the quiet. Some songs were written in minutes, the words arriving fast, like they were already waiting. Others took years, returning to them slowly, adding one small piece at a time. She often records ideas quickly before they disappear. A melody into a phone, a line into a notebook. Because the best ideas don't always wait for a convenient moment. Her creative process isn't structured. It follows how she feels. Some days, the words come easily. Other days, nothing at all. And she has learned to accept both. She's known to build songs around a single word or a single phrase, something that holds a whole emotion inside it, and she builds outward from there, slowly. She doesn't wait for inspiration. She creates the space for it. She shows up. She sits with the quiet and lets the ideas come when they're ready. Revisiting old ideas is part of how she grows. An idea that didn't work before might work now because she has changed and she sees it differently. She's rewritten parts of her past work to reclaim control of it, to take back something that was taken. Music that was hers and then wasn't, and then became hers again. Her writing is often more honest than she is in conversation. On a page, she says things she might not say out loud. The page is safe in a way that speaking isn't always. She trusts instinct more than perfection. When something feels right, she follows it, even if she can't explain why. Being seen by millions of people doesn't mean being fully understood. You can be watched by everyone and still feel invisible. Still feel like the real version of you isn't quite visible. She has spoken about feeling watched, even in ordinary moments. A walk outside, a quiet evening, the awareness that someone might be looking never fully leaves. Fame can make you question what's real and what's expected. You start to wonder, is this me? Or is this the version they want? She learned early that people create versions of you in their minds, in their stories. A version that isn't quite who you are, but feels very real to them. Those versions aren't always who you are, and that can feel strange. To be known so widely and misunderstood so quietly. She has had to learn to separate her identity from public opinion, to know herself apart from what people say about her. That's not easy for anyone. Growing up in the spotlight changes how you see yourself. When you've always been watched, it's hard to know who you are when no one is looking. She has described reinvention as both freedom and pressure. The freedom to become something new. The pressure to do it in front of everyone. Letting go of old versions is part of her process. The version of herself from 5 years ago isn't who she is today. And that's okay. People are allowed to change. She chooses what to reveal
And what to keep. Not everything needs to be shared. Some things are allowed to stay private, even for someone who shares so much. She tends to process feelings deeply before letting them go. She doesn't rush through emotions. She sits with them, turns them over, looks at them from different sides. Her songs often come from reflection, not from reaction. She waits. She lets time pass. And then she writes from a place that's calmer. She has said that silence can make emotions louder. When the noise stops, the feeling is still there. It was always there. The quiet just makes it easier to hear. Some memories stay with her longer than she expects. Ordinary moments. A smell. A sound. Something small that brings a whole feeling back. She notices details that others might forget. The color of a room. The way someone laughed small things that stay. Emotional clarity doesn't always come quickly. Sometimes you understand something only years later, and you think, oh, that's what that was. She sometimes revisits the same feeling from different angles. Looking at it again, seeing something she missed before. Letting go can take time. She has written about this. The slow process of releasing something that once felt important. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens gradually. She writes about things long after they happen, sometimes years later. Looking back at something with new eyes. Understanding something doesn't always make it easier. You can know exactly why something happened and still feel the weight of it. Understanding and healing aren't always the same thing. If you're still listening, just let your body relax a little more. You don't need to hold on to any of these thoughts. They can just pass by like clouds moving slowly overhead. Let your breathing slow down just a little more. In and out. There's nowhere you need to be. Nothing you need to remember. Just rest here in the quiet. We'll keep moving slowly, gently. Success doesn't remove uncertainty. It just changes it. New questions replace the old ones. The worries shift, but they don't disappear. She has learned that growth can feel uncomfortable. Becoming more can feel like losing something at the same time. It's a strange feeling to grow and grieve at the same time. Being understood by millions of people is different from being known. Millions of people can know your name, but very few people can know your quiet moments, the ones you don't share. She values time alone more than most people might realize. Quiet evenings, spaces without noise, moments where no one is watching. She has said that writing
helps her feel grounded.
When everything around her is moving fast, the page stays still, and she can find herself there again. Her calm moments are often away from attention, not on a stage, not in front of cameras, in an ordinary room with ordinary silence. Not every thought becomes a song. Some stay private. Some are too personal to share. And she knows the difference. She's aware that everything changes over time. People change. Relationships change. She changes. And she has learned to accept that rather than fight it. Her walk reflects how she sees the world shifting. Each album is a different season, a different way of seeing things, a different temperature. She accepts that not everything needs closure. Some stories just end without a neat conclusion, without a final answer. And that has to be enough. Re-recording her work wasn't just a business decision. It was a way of taking ownership of her own past, of saying, "This belongs to me. These words are mine." She has described losing control of her music as losing part of herself. Music she wrote alone, in quiet rooms, belonging to someone else. That is a particular kind of loss. Control, for her, often comes through creation, not through restriction, not through fighting, but through making something new. She doesn't just write songs. She shapes how they're remembered. The production, the imagery, the story around them. All of it is considered. Revisiting old work can feel like meeting a younger version of yourself. You see the things you were feeling then, the things you were trying to say. And you think, I remember being that person. Some songs change meaning over time, even if the words stay exactly the same, because you've changed and you hear them differently now. Creating something new can be a way to rewrite something old, not to erase it, but to see it with different eyes, to give it a new context. Her work reflects
Not just who she was, but who she chose to become. A choice made slowly, one album at a time. She has learned that ownership isn't just legal, it's emotional. It's knowing something is truly yours in a way that goes deeper than a contract. Sometimes moving forward means going back first, returning to where something started before you can leave it behind properly. Time doesn't erase emotions. It changes how you carry them. Something that once felt heavy might feel lighter now. Not gone, just lighter. Moments that once felt overwhelming can later feel distant, like something that happened to someone you used to know, even if that someone was you. She has lived through multiple versions of herself in a short amount of time. Different eras, different sounds, different ways of being in the world. Growth can feel like loss, even when it's necessary. To become something new, you have to leave something behind. And that leaving can hurt, even when it's the right thing. The past doesn't disappear. It becomes quieter. It moves further away, but it stays. A quiet shape at the edge of things. Looking back can feel strange, like remembering someone else. But knowing that someone was you, all those feelings were yours. All those moments were real. Some feelings only make sense years later, when enough time has passed and you have enough distance to see clearly. She has learned that change is rarely comfortable at first. At first, it feels uncertain, unsteady. But over time, it settles. And the new thing starts to feel normal. Time reveals patterns that weren't visible before. Looking back from further away, you can see the shape of things, the way it all connected. You don't outgrow everything. Some things stay with you, not as weights, but as parts of who you are, woven in quietly. People don't just see you, they interpret you. They build a version of you in their mind, based on what they know, based on what they want to believe. She has experienced being understood and misunderstood at the same time by different people in the same moment. That is the strange nature of being known widely. Not every relationship ends clearly. Some just fade slowly, without a final conversation, without a clear ending. Just a gradual fading until the silence becomes permanent. Being known publicly can make private relationships harder. When your life is visible, intimacy requires more work, more protection, more care. She has written about connections that changed her quietly, not with loud drama, but with a slow, deep shift. The kind that takes time to notice. Some relationships are remembered more for how they felt than for what actually happened. The details blur, but the feeling stays. Distance changes how you see people and how you see yourself. Away from someone, you see more clearly what they were, what you were, what it really was. Not everyone who knows your name knows who you are. Knowing someone's story is different from knowing their heart. Letting go of someone doesn't always mean forgetting them. They stay in small ways, in a song, in a memory, in a feeling that comes back sometimes without warning. Sometimes the hardest part is accepting what something really was, not what you wanted it to be, not what it felt like at the time, but what it actually was. That acceptance can take a long time. Routine can bring calm, even in a chaotic life. Something familiar. Something that stays the same. Even when everything else is moving. She often works in quiet environments, not surrounded by noise, not in a crowd, in spaces where she can think, where the ideas have room to breathe. Small habits shape creativity more than big moments do. The daily practice, the small ritual, showing up even when nothing comes. Consistency matters, even when inspiration fades. Some days, the words aren't there, and you sit with the blankness, and you wait, and eventually, something comes. She has spent long nights working when no one else was around. The house quiet, the world asleep. Just her and the work, and a light left on. Silence can be more productive than noise. In the quiet, the mind goes deeper, finds things it couldn't find in the bustle. The creative process isn't always visible. Most of it happens slowly, quietly, in ordinary moments, before anyone sees it. Some of her best ideas came from the most ordinary moments. A drive somewhere, a quiet morning, a moment when the mind wasn't trying, and the thought just arrived. She has learned to protect her time as much as her energy. Some things are worth saying yes to, and some things are not. Knowing the difference is its own kind of wisdom. What you do daily matters more than what you do occasionally. The habits that run quietly in the background, the small choices made over and over that shape everything. You can be successful and still uncertain. Both things can be true at the same time. You can grow and still feel the weight of the past. Not everything needs to be understood to be accepted. Some things just are what they are.
Some answers come when you stop looking for them, when you let your hands rest and your mind drift, and you stop trying so hard. That's often when the answer finds you. She has learned that peace is quieter than success. Success is loud. Peace is still. You don't need to explain everything to everyone. Some things are meant to stay personal, held quietly, close to you. You can keep moving forward, even without complete clarity, even when things are still uncertain, even when the path isn't fully visible yet. You take the next small step, and then the next one. The story people see is never the full story. There's always more beneath the surface, more complexity, more tenderness, more quiet moments that no one filmed. And sometimes, those are the moments that matter most. The ones no one sees. The late nights alone. The lines rewritten again and again. The decision to keep going, made quietly, with no audience at all. Let your thoughts slow down now. There's nothing left to hold on to tonight. Everything you heard can drift away gently. Like leaves on still water. You don't need to remember any of it. It was just something to follow, something to rest inside. Your body is heavy now, in a good way. Sinking into wherever you are. The night is quiet. Your mind is slowing down. And everything can wait until tomorrow. Everything can wait. Just rest now.